Hey, I'm Curtis Calhoun with LowKick MMA, and today I'm joined by UFC Flyweight Brandon Royval. Brandon, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me, brother.
No problem, man. Hey, so let's talk about your recently announced fight against Alexandre Pantoja on August 21st at a UFC Fight Night event, location to be determined. What are your first thoughts on him as an opponent, and just kind of tell us how excited you are to get back in the octagon?
Yeah, man. For me, it's just like I get to go back in there against number 3 in the world, and it's just like I didn't get to lose it too much stock in myself. So I'm pretty stoked about that, and I'm pretty stoked that I have like a exciting opportunity and that I can kind of keep climbing up and have that opportunity to keep going up.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about your recovery. Last time we saw you was against, of course, Brandon Moreno, your last fight. Kind of tell us how your recovery has been from that torn labrum you suffered and kind of what that experience has been like. And how are you feeling now?
It's been a little bit of hell, honestly, man. It's I had to recover from a shoulder surgery before. And yeah, man, it's never an easy one. It's really, you can't use your shoulder for like 6 months. And I'm probably like 5 months in, so I'll get approved to be like completely back in a couple weeks. So it's been exciting. It's been a roller coaster, and it's been a great way for me to improve in a million different ways and focus on ways that are not just I don't know. I'm a huge jabber, and being a southpaw, my right hand is my money weapon right here.
Right.
So I can improve on all the other tools and all that. So it's almost a weird blessing in disguise, where it's like I can brush up on a bunch of different other things and be a student of the game that way. And more importantly, like brush up my mind, man, is what sometimes I need to do. I feel like since I've been in the UFC, it's just been like fight after fight after fight. I kind of had that 6-month layoff and a little bit of time to get my shoulder better. So, I mean, just a little bit more maturity between all that too. And a little bit more obsession. I feel like anytime you get a dream or whatever, you get like, as soon as a dream is like, you're like right on the verge of it, I feel like everybody gets tested right away. And I think that test for me is overcoming the surgery and that major putback to just see how much, like how bad do you really want this shit? You want it so bad that you're going to train while you're injured. You're going to train in a sling, or you're going to train when shit really matters. You're going to love this sport when you have a good thing going for you. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I can stay obsessed and I can love this sport in that condition, then I don't really question anything now. So I knew something like, I feel like that always happens to somebody is as soon as they come close to something, there's a major setback that kind of tests their love and their will to it. So I'm glad I could stay true to it and show my love out there, man.
Remember last time you suffered a similar injury on your shoulder, you mentioned how you had to make the switch from orthodox to southpaw for a time being. Did you have to make another massive switch this time around?
Yeah. I don't think I would ever stay orthodox anymore just because I love southpaw, and I think it's a major advantage to be a southpaw fighter these days. But yeah, I got to improve on my left way more, and that was a huge beneficial for through this whole entire surgery. Is just if I get shoulder surgery and I didn't improve my left hand, I didn't improve my kicks, I didn't improve my footwork, I didn't improve my head movement. I couldn't grapple, so there's none of that. I could use my legs a little bit. We do like grappling and like 50-50 stuff, like little drills. But it's like, if I didn't improve my footwork, if I didn't improve my left hand, then what was the point of me getting injured, man? Like I wouldn't have used 6 months well. So it's cool. And I can kind of have a whole different style of fighting and kind of come back to a little bit and like weird adjustments and stuff that I got good at, and a little bit more of a trickiness to me,
Absolutely. Let's get your thoughts on the state of the flyweight division and how close do you see yourself from a title shot, and just kind of tell us your goals for 2021.
My goal is 100% title. My goal is 100% title in the future, getting a shot and just setting myself up for that next point. I don't really know how the division shapes up once Cody Garbrandt comes back and all that, but I know that for me, it's just chasing that dream and getting that number 1 spot as quick as possible would be my goal. And on top of that, man, I want to go put on performances. I'm new to the division. I don't really have fans or anything yet, and it's just like I want to show the world who I am and what I'm about,
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on the upcoming title fight between Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno at UFC 263?
Oh, I can't wait for it. That's going to be the greatest fight ever. I'm sure they're going to deliver the same exact as they did the first time.
Yeah.
There's no not going to. They're too exciting. They're both guys that like to press forward. Brandon Moreno has heart, and David Figueiredo just throws hard, man. So it'll be a great fight, man. I don't know who's going to win that. I really think it's like a coin toss between the two, but I'm excited to watch it, man. I want to see the adjustments they both made and the first fight, I love it, and I learned a lot from it too, you know. So it's a lot that I can kind of bank up, and then, you know, it's a 5-round fight, and I'm sure they're both two tough killers, man. They're not going to finish each other, or they might, but it's going to be hard for both of them. So it's like I get a lot of intel, and on top of that, it's going to be a great fight, and I can learn some.
Absolutely. Your journey to the UFC is very unique. Kind of tell us about how your experience being a flyweight with LFA kind of helped prepare you for the spotlight that comes with competing in the UFC.
Yeah. So I think like a big portion of all my losses, as soon as I lost, it was like they got signed to the UFC or to like Contender Series or something like that. And it was just like, I knew staying with the LFA, and I think before then I was with Combate, but with LFA, I was going on the right path, you know what I'm saying? And like all the guys that were winning the title were getting the UFC call and all that. And I was like, I know the path, and like there's not like a for sure path to the UFC, but the LFA belt's a great one. You know what I'm saying? The LFA belt, the CFFC belt. But for me, as far as a flyweight goes, and like think about this, it's like as a flyweight in America, the most important belt outside the UFC is the LFA, because right. Bellator doesn't want to, what is it? God dang, I'm gonna forget their name. PFL doesn't have a belt.
Yeah,
whatever they're called now, and none of them have flyweight belts. They don't have flyweight divisions, and so all the talent goes to LFA or CFFC. And not to bag on CFFC, I just think that we always pull the better, more diverse crowd at LFA, because we have Brazilians in there. We have, you know what I'm saying, so that they pull a lot of great fighters. So, and then you see the success in there. Henry Cejudo is a champion. Brandon Moreno is a champion for LFA. Pantoja was an LFA champion, or a legacy champion, or a resurrection fight champion. And you just see what they produced. And ever since RFA and LFA and the legacy ever made that commitment together, it's been the greatest thing. And they provide us with opportunities and all that stuff. So I knew once I got that belt, it's like either I'm getting a call or I'm going to the Contender Series or whatever it is. But I knew I was one step closer to the UFC, you know?
Absolutely. And the last question for me, I remember after your last win over Kai Kara France, you quit your full-time job working as a youth services specialist. Kind of tell us what that experience was like working in that role, and how relieved are you now to be putting your sole focus on fighting?
It's funny because I was so excited and like so desperate to get out of that job. But even like right now with this Dream Center thing, is like I'm going right back into it. I've been trying to work with these kids into it, but it's like, but I'm doing it at my own free will. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it out of necessity. I'm not doing it because I had to make ends meet. And, you know, I'm not working 40 hours there. I'm applying my dream. And then these kids who actually who've seen me working overnight, they see me make an adjustment from working overnights to just be a full-time fighter. And I'm just like, I need to do these days. I work them all day. It's like, I need these overnight shifts to make this dream come true. And then they see me walk in, they're like, bro, you look like shit. I'm like, I slept 3 hours last night. And they're like, damn, how are you going to pull this off? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to pull off. They're like, what time's your practice tomorrow? I'm like, 9 a.m. They're like, you're going to fucking stay up all night and go to practice. So I think for that, and like for my experience and just not being like when I was young, I was a little bit of I was maybe bad for like a friend group or whatever, but like I was a roll faller for the most part. I wasn't bad for like, I don't know. I just wasn't like, I wasn't in jail, you know, I wasn't doing what they were doing. I'm not looking at hard time, you know? So I think that they can just see what like my hard work has done in that perspective, and then they can kind of grow from that. But as far as working in that juvie is the best experience of my life. It was probably a little bit crazy too. We were super understaffed at that place, but literally some of the best people in the sense of like the staff I worked with were amazing. They're the greatest people, had to endure a lot and overcome a lot. And those kids are amazing, man. There's so much in the Denver youth. We're doing this Colorado Dream Center thing right now, and they're talking about like the youth and what they're doing. And Colorado in 2020 through 2021 so far has been the highest crime rate, crime violence, and it's all youth on youth. They're all 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds shooting each other, you know, and it's violence against violence. Once someone gets shot, most people recruit gang members after that and stuff too. So it's just like, I don't know. You see so much potential in there, and you just see them get caught up in the wrong neighborhood, the wrong habits, the wrong families too, man. Some of their families are in gangs, and it's like, how do you avoid that lifestyle when you really have no choice? You know, I had a little kid in there, 14 years old, 13 years old, maybe full on tatted. And I'm like, how do you get a tattoo at 13? He's like, oh yeah, my mom got it for me. Full on gang tattoo. Like, I don't know, man. Eye-opening, man. Definitely humbling. It's frustrating, man. That job was super frustrating. Getting called a bitch by a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, whatever it is, isn't sure. And But more than anything, it was just like, damn, we need to do something about this because there's so much potential out here. There's so much future in these kids, man. Some of these kids are so bright. They're such leaders, you know, and it's like how can we get these kids potential? You know, how do we get these kids a shot, or how do we get these kids away from this crazy lifestyle? And it's hard, but yeah. So it's funny. As soon as I left that juvie, I went right back. I'm trying to go back as soon as possible, you know. So
right,
it's been a different journey for me.
So before we go, I'll give you kind of the final word to shout out any sponsors you have, and I'll give you the final word.
Yeah. I want to give a first shout out to my sponsors who made this recovery for me. The ease of mind, man. When you have money coming in, you have people taking care of you. Having a sponsor, EAP Glass in Denver, has been the greatest thing for me because it allowed me to recover without being completely stressed out and trying to look for a job with one arm and all that stuff. So EAP Glass has been the greatest blessing in my life right now. But right now, I want to give a shout out to Dream Center and Factory X. They're working together, helping the community, helping stop gang violence, raising up money to help these neighborhoods and create a better future. So shout out to Dream Center in Colorado, and that's what we're doing right now. So, and I appreciate you guys for your time and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like a beautiful day there in the Denver area, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much.
I appreciate it, brother.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.